Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Understanding Behavior live stream. I'm so glad that you can make it here tonight. We're going to go over shaping and chaining. Super fun topic. Excited to share it all with you. Looks like we have a couple of first timers here. We got Brianna as a first timer. Anybody else here for the first time? If you are, you're in for a treat. It should be a really fun presentation tonight and hopefully gives you a new perspective on shaping and chaining. We're going to give you everything that you need to know on these two topics. So let's go ahead and do it. I'm super excited. If you're in our Understanding Behavior Power Preppers group, you might have seen the notification that we do have a special announcement for you tonight. So the special announcement is that we are coming up on a holiday weekend, so I thought it might be cool that we're gonna to do a Memorial Day sale. So starting tomorrow, we're gonna have pretty much all of our products on sale. Including our big bundles. So make sure you check out the Understanding Behavior shop to get the best deals. This usually our Memorial Day sale and our Black Friday sales are like the biggest sales of the year. So if you're looking for some really great deals on some amazing study materials, it is the perfect time to pick those up. So that's a big announcement. Check those out. There's going to be huge discounts on everything that we offer. Again, we're going over shaping and chaining tonight. Just if you're not familiar with our products, I want to show you guys a little bit about what we offer. Our newest course is the Behavior Beast Slayer course. It is a comprehensive course that goes over pretty much everything you need to know for the entire TCO and how to master behavior analysis. It has over 16 hours of these short videos. Most of them are like 5 to 20 minutes in length. They're also really interactive, and there's over 65 quizzes to help you master those concepts as well. So that'll be going on sale tomorrow. The videos are really cool because they have questions built in, kind of like this. So it'll pause like when there's a question, then you can like select the answer, and it'll give you a little bit of feedback on it. We've got some students in here that are already Beast Slayers. Alexa's loving it so far. Amy's loving it so far. Thanks for sharing. So glad you guys are enjoying it. It's a really awesome course, super interactive, super fun way to study as well. So if you're looking for a more thorough review, would highly recommend that. We also have our mocks and our mini mock products. Our mini mocks come with our toughest questions that we offer. Then we have our fluency package, which comes with our really easy, simple questions. So depending on like what level of difficulty that you're looking for, I recommend the mini mocks for mastery, just because they're really difficult and will really like push your thoughts to the limit. And if you want to get everything combined, we actually have a new bundle. It's called the Complete Beast Mode Bundle. It comes with the Beast Slayer course, both of our full mocks, the Fluency package, and the mini mocks for mastery. And it's going to be on sale even more than this tomorrow. It's over $564 in products. And tomorrow you'll be able to pick it up for even cheaper than what we currently offer. So definitely go check that out if you're looking for some really awesome study products. Again, we're going to have our sale starting tomorrow, so maybe wait till tomorrow if you're looking to get some really good deals on it. But also be sending out some emails, and Understanding Behavior Shop is going to be the best place to go for sure. Love it. Yeah, lots of people saying that they're loving the Beast Slayer course so far. Yeah, also, if you are picking up the Beast Slayer course this weekend, we are doing a Beast Slayer exclusive stream on Tuesday. So it's going to be a much more tight-knit stream with and it's going to be kind of like free reign topics for whatever people wanted to discuss. What will also be cool is I'm going to bring students on to stream with me as well. So if you're in the Beast Slayer course, you can have an opportunity to come on stream with me and chat one-to-one. We can get some personal time, get to know each other a little bit better. So if you pick up the Beast Slayer course this weekend, you would be able to attend that, and that's going to be on Tuesday after this holiday weekend wraps up. So super excited for that. Yeah, not too sure how we're going to pick which students are going to come on stream. We're going to try to get most of y'all in, depending on what the demand looks like. It looks like we have about 15 students that want to come in right now. So we might do small groups, or we might do random picks for those, but we'll play it by ear. But we'll get lots of students up during that stream. It'll probably be like at least a 2-hour stream, so it will be super cool. Yeah, if you're in the Beast Layer course, if you go to the community tab, there's a place to sign up. There's a Google form for it, for sure. For sure, for sure. So yeah, I'll get you guys in there for sure. If you're in the Beast Layer course, you fill out the form. You've done everything you can do so far. So looking good, looking good. All right, well, tonight's topic is going to be shaping and chaining. My name's Nick Ostosh. You're watching the Understanding Behavior live stream again. So let's go ahead and get to it. Yeah, for the just one more details about the Beast Layer exclusive stream. It's on YouTube, but it's unlisted, so you have to have the link to join. It won't be like public on YouTube. And then for students joining in, they'll join in on Zoom with me, and then we'll kind of just stream it to YouTube. So yeah, don't share that link out if you're to people that aren't Beast Slayers. It's a Beast Slayer exclusive stream. And yeah, if you want to find the info on that in the Beast Slayer course, I'll show you real quick. You just need to enter the course and then go into the community tab, and then there'll be a post about that. Mine looks weird because it's like the admin side of it. But if you go to the community tab, that's where you want to be inside the Beast Slayer course, and you'll find the links for that. All right, cool. Well, let's get into our topic for tonight. Well, if this is your first time here at an Understanding Behavior live stream, you know that we do some giveaways as well. So we'll be giving away some mock products. The more likes that we get on this video, the sooner we'll do giveaways. If we get a lot of likes on the video, then we'll even give away multiple mock exams to people here. So if you haven't yet, hit that thumbs up, like button, and we will do some giveaways once the counter gets up there looking good. Here's our agenda for today. We're going to start off by talking about the task analysis. Then we'll talk about behavior chains and the dual functioning stimuli. We'll diagram some behavior chains. I'll show you a really cool way to diagram that so you can see like all the different components, how the different stimuli act. Then we'll talk about types of chaining procedures and go into a quiz. After that, we'll talk about shaping. We'll talk about shaping within topographies, across topographies, the difference between the two. We'll even give you a flow chart on how to decide whether we're looking at within or across topographies. And then we'll look at some examples as well and do a little quiz at the end. You guys ready to crush? Let's do this. Also, I have a new shaping example tonight. I'm going to show you one of the really cool activities that I've been engaging in. I made an example about it. So it's really cool. You can't wait. I promise. All right, let's start with our task analysis. Let's do this. Task analysis definition I've got here is it's a breakdown of a complex behavior or sequences of behavior into its component elements or responses. So usually with complex behavior, we're more looking at like really things that like require multiple actions at once, and those are going to be more applicable to shaping. Sequences of behavior are obviously multiple behaviors linked together, and that's going to relate more to our behavior chains, and we're going to break those down into the component elements or responses. So what are the small parts that make up those bigger complex or sequences of behaviors? So again, task analysis can be applied to either of these. They're relevant to both shaping and chaining, so that's why we're going over this definition first. Let's go over behavior chain definition now. This definition can be a little bit of a mouthful, so let's break it down one piece at a time. A behavior chain is defined as a sequence of stimuli and responses. So we have like stimulus, response, and then each response produces a stimulus. Okay, so that kind of makes sense. We have a response, then stimulus. So the stimulus serves as a consequence. And this stimulus, it has two different functions. So first, it's going to serve as a reinforcer for the preceding response. So it kind of makes sense, like the response that produced that stimulus, that it's going to reinforce that previous response. And then it's going to serve as an SD or an operandum for the following response. This term might be a little bit less familiar, operandum. This is defined as the part of the environment that the organism manipulates. So if I'm looking at drinking this water bottle, the water bottle is the operandum. The SD in this situation is that there's water in here and it's really heavy, so that signals that like my drinking is going to get reinforced. But the water bottle itself is an operandum; it's not an SD. So the behavior chain is it's going to produce a stimulus, and it has both of these functions. So it reinforces the previous response, and then it sets up the next response by either being an SD or an operandum. Cool, cool, cool. Is this anybody here like first time hearing this term operandum? I feel like not enough people talk about it. Operandum may or may not be on the exam. I don't know if they would ever put it on there, but I think it's really important to know because it really helps you differentiate like if something's an SD or not. Like for example, like in the Past the Big ABA book and even on like their YouTube channel, they call a lot of things that are actually operandums SDs, and it's like, no, it's wrong. Okay, apparently I'm the only one that talks about it. Weird. Well, I'm glad some people are learning it at least. I think it's a really important term to get down to help differentiate between what's an SD and what's not. Cool. We're learning something new tonight for sure. So behavior chains involve, again, these dual functioning stimuli. So each stimulus has both of these functions. It reinforces the previous response, and it sets up the next response as an SD or an operandum. Cool, cool. Let's go ahead. If you've gone through the B-Slayer course, you already know I love the Skinner box. So let's look at a Skinner box example first. In this behavior chain, what we're going to look at is that a rat pulls down a little chain. I had a video. I don't think I put it in this PowerPoint though. But a rat pulls down a little chain from his box. This will turn the light on, and which signals that he can press a lever, which will result in water. And then he approaches his water dispenser and gets his drop of water. So let's look at a couple steps of this behavior chain first. The first behavior is going to be pulling on the chain, and the consequence of that is that the light is going to turn on. Our next step of the chain, step 2 here, we have that the rat will press the lever, and then he hears the sound of the dipper. So the dipper is the water dispenser, essentially, in a Skinner box. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at this stimulus first. We have the light being on. So in reference to pulling the chain, is the light on? Does this serve as a reinforcer, or does it serve as an SD? Let's see that in chat. Again, the question is, we're looking at this, the light being on is the stimulus. In reference to pulling the chain, is this serving as an SD or a reinforcer? What do you guys think? If you have a rationale for your answer, you know that always will amp up your understanding and get you the most out of this presentation. Cool, some good answers in here. I see our Beast Slayers are slaying this one. Absolutely. Yeah, Emily E., great rationale. Yeah, Andrea, I love that too. Good. Yeah, nice, Shinobu. Awesome rationales. Way to go, everyone. Yeah, Evie, I really like that. Great answers. Okay, so when we're looking at pulling the chain resulting in the light being on, this is going to serve as a reinforcer for this behavior. So note that pulling the chain results in this stimulus. It's serving as a consequence. So that's our biggest indicator that's going to serve as a reinforcer in this case. So pulling the chain produces light being on. That's going to reinforce pulling the chain. So now when we look at our next step, pressing the lever, the light on signals that pressing the lever is going to get reinforced. So it's an SD for this next behavior of pressing the lever, because it's now it's an antecedent that sets up that next behavior, signals that it's going to get reinforced with the sound of the dipper that is paired with water. Cool, cool, cool. So if it's a consequence, it's going to be a reinforcer. If it's an antecedent, it's going to be an SD when we're looking at behavior chains. Good, easy way to remember that. All right, let's continue on with our chain. Now we have the rat is going to approach the dipper, and the final consequence is that he's going to receive his water. So let's look at now, we're going to look at this dipper click. What does this serve as in reference to approaching the dipper? Is this serving as an SD or a reinforcer? Once again, we're looking at the dipper click as the stimulus. What is it serving as in reference to this this behavior, approaching the dipper? Is it an SD or a reinforcer? And if you can provide a rationale, especially if you missed that last one, it's really going to amp up how much you're learning and taking out of this presentation tonight. Awesome. Yeah, some really great rationales coming through. And I love that. Looks great. Good job, Amy. Yeah, Alyssa, Andrea, Alberto. Good. Yeah, these are looking really great, crew. Good. Yeah, Olivia. Perfect. Love that. Life happens. Looks great. Good. Nice job here, crew. All right, so yeah, this one is going to be an SD because it's serving as an antecedent stimulus that sets up this next behavior and signals that it's going to get reinforced. So he hears the little water dispenser go up. That signals to the rat that, hey, if I go lick that thing or if I go to approach and lick it, then water's going to be there, and that's what I'm looking for right now. So this is an SD for this behavior because it sets up and signals that reinforcement as an antecedent stimulus. Really nice job there. Looks good, looks good. So we've mastered our Skinner box example. Let's go ahead and check out a real life example now. Now we're looking at sending an email. Now, one thing I want to note about task analyses is that we're going to break them down into as many steps as we deem necessary for our learner. So you can have a behavior chain and you can break it up into 10 different steps, or you can break it up into 3 different steps. And as the analyst, what you want to do is you just want to break it up into like whatever amount of steps seems really relevant or necessary for your learner. So let's look at this chain. We have sending an email, and there are going to be multiple ways to do this. So this is just one way to do it. Our first behavior is going to be that we're going to unlock our phone. Then the stimulus produced by that is that our phone is unlocked. Really straightforward. Now we're going to click that Gmail icon, and then we see that Gmail opens. All right, so let's look at our phone being unlocked in reference to clicking the Gmail icon. What is the stimulus serving as? Is it an SD or a reinforcer? So once again, we're looking at our phone being unlocked. What does it serve as for this behavior? Clicking the Gmail icon. Is it an SD or a reinforcer? Good. Yeah, Emily, I really like that answer. Rashon looks good. Good. Yeah, Chan looking great. And hairstyle, I like where you're going. Make sure that you're looking at a behavior though for that next part. Yeah, Gisela did a really nice job of that. Awesome. Good, Alyssa. Yeah, life happens. I really like that. All right, looks good, looks good. Yeah, and Harrison, right on track there. Perfect. Yeah, a couple people kind of miss that too, so let's talk about that. Answer here is going to be an SD, so it's stimulus that signals that clicking the Gmail icon is going to get reinforced by the Gmail opening. So some people in your rationales, you describe that like the phone unlocked signals like Gmail is available, or like Gmail, or like your email is there, but that's not quite correct. Remember, SD signal that reinforcement's available for a response. So you need to describe the response there. Is that it signals that clicking the Gmail icon will be reinforced. So make sure you're very clearly labeling the behavior that is signaled for reinforcement when you're describing that SD. Not totally incorrect but it's definitely a better way to describe it if you talk about the signaling of the behavior resulting in reinforcement. So once again, we would say the phone being unlocked serves as an SD for clicking the Gmail icon, and that this behavior will get reinforced with your Gmail opening. And be like, look at my phone, for example. Like I know I click my Gmail icon a million times a day. It's right here. But like when my phone is locked, it doesn't work. But now when my phone is unlocked, then I can click that Gmail icon and then Gmail opens. So looks good there. Nice job, crew. Let's keep going. Now once Gmail is open, we can hit compose and write our email. Now our email is ready for sending. And then once we hit send, then our email is being sent. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at another step here. When we have Gmail opening in relation to clicking the Gmail icon, what does this serve as? Is this an SD or a reinforcer? We'll go a little faster on this one. So Gmail being open for, what does it serve as for clicking the Gmail icon? Is it an SD or a reinforcer? Good, yeah, nice answer so far. Looking good, looking good. Few more seconds here. Take another 10, 15 seconds. Let's see if you can get a rationale in that time. All right, yeah, answers looking really good here, crew. Love the rationales. Yeah, Akua, that looks really great. Cassie, life happens. Good. Good. So when we're looking at the Gmail being open in relation to clicking the Gmail icon, this is going to serve as a reinforcer. So it's a consequence for clicking the Gmail icon, and it's going to kind of propel us through this behavior chain. So it's a reinforcer for this behavior. Absolutely. Good job, good job. All right, let's look at our next, let's look at something else here. Now, we hit compose and then we write our email. Now our email is ready for sending. So this email being ready for sending, is this an SD or a reinforcer for hitting compose and writing the email? So now we're looking at, again, our email being ready for sending. Is this an SD or a reinforcer for hitting compose and writing the email? Man, we are getting pretty close to our first giveaway trigger here. We've got 98 people here, but only 46 likes on the video. We're mighty close to that giveaway trigger, so if you haven't yet, make sure you hit that like button so we can give that away soon. Good, yeah, I'm liking the answers coming through here. Yeah, Amy, great rationale. Yeah, we like the hearts, but yeah, if you want to go for the giveaway counter, that thumbs up button is the thing to hit. Thanks for everybody who has done that so far and is continuing to do that. Looks great. Love the rationales coming through. Yeah, good Rashon. Yeah, Akua, we like that. It looks great. Awesome, awesome. So this one is going to be a reinforcer for this behavior. So hitting compose and writing the email produces the email being ready for sending. That's our reinforcer being produced. It's a consequence, and again, that's going to help propel our chain going. And then when we look at the next behavior, it's an SD for this next behavior. So when we hit send, it's our email is sent and we're ready to go. But let's say like we hit send without doing this step. So like we hit send and like we didn't write the email yet. Now this doesn't necessarily result in this reinforcer of the email being sent. So we needed to hit compose and write the email, have our email ready for sending, and now this signals that hitting send is going to get reinforced with our email being sent. Perfect, perfect. All right, looks great. You guys are starting to really nail those dual functioning stimuli. I like to see it. We did meet our giveaway counter, so we're going to go ahead and do our first giveaway of the evening. If you win this giveaway, you get to choose out of these 4 products, whichever one you would like. You can get either of the Beat the Beast mocks, our mini mocks for mastery, or our fluency package. So we'll do a random drawing for that. Everybody is able to put 1 number in. Multiple guesses will be disqualified, no exceptions. Guess 1 number, 1 to 500. Whoever is closest will be able to pick which prize they want. Let's start seeing those numbers. Who's gonna win it tonight? All right, they're coming in hot. They're coming in hot. Who's it gonna be? Is it gonna be high or low? Big number, small number, even number, odd number? We shall see. We'll give you guys about 15 more seconds for that. Okay, last call for numbers. I think we're going to make Kashira the last number guess here. Let's go ahead and pick it. Our number is 180. All right, pretty clean number. What we got? What we got? When I say Julia, 183. That's pretty close. Julia, you're close. Let's see. Anybody else? Oh, Kiyomo was 175. Not quite as close as Julia. Oh, Toya 186. So close. Oh, man. I think Julia might have this tonight. Correct me if I'm wrong, Chad, but it looks like Julia Monash has it. All right. I'm getting the confirmation from chat. All right. Sweet. Well, congrats, Julia. That's amazing. Yeah, which product do you think you're going to get? You don't have to tell me now, but yeah, to claim your prize, just send me an email at understandingbehaviorofficial@gmail.com and we'll hook you up. Just let me know which product you want and we'll send it your way. Congratulations. All right, well, there are more giveaways to be had tonight, but we do need to see that like counter up a little bit higher. We've got more people than likes here, so I think we can do a little bit better, but you know, the choice is up to you. Yay, congrats, Julia. All right. Well, let's go over the difference between behavior chains and chaining, because these tend to get mixed up pretty easily. When we're talking about behavior chain, we're looking at that sequence of behaviors. So like sending an email as a behavior chain, or we would say like cooking mac and cheese as a behavior chain, or like going grocery shopping as a behavior chain. When we're looking at chaining, this is more like the method of teaching a behavior chain. So the most common methods are forward chaining, backwards chaining, and total task chaining. So again, behavior chains are like the name of the term. The chaining is going to be the way that we're going to teach the behavior chain. All right, well, let's talk about our different types of chaining procedures. We're going to start with backwards chaining. And backwards chaining, we're going to teach the last link of a behavioral chain first, and then add in the preceding links until the first link is taught. So we're going to start at the end of our chain. We're going to set up our learners so they only have to do that last step of the chain. We're going to get lots of practice on this last step, and then once they've master that last step, then we'll add in our preceding steps. So once they've done this, now they'll have to do steps 4 and 5 together. Every time that they master through a phase, then we'll add in one more preceding step until we get to the very beginning of the chain, and now they're doing the entire behavioral chain. We also have a variation of backwards chaining. It's called backwards chaining with leaps ahead. It's essentially the same exact thing, but we're going to skip over known steps. So for example, like let's say they know how to do step 3 already. Then we would go through our first 2 phases as normal. But once they've mastered this second phase, now we're going to leap over this phase because they already know how to do step 3. So we're not even going to bother with steps 3, 4, and 5. We're going to leap right over to this phase with our leap here. So that is backwards chaining with leaps. It's, again, pretty much the same thing as backwards chaining. Let's go over some of the pros and cons of backwards chaining. So what's nice is that you contact that naturalistic or terminal reinforcer on every trial. So since they're completing the chain, doing the last step of the chain on every single trial, then they always contact that reinforcer at the end. So if we're cooking mac and cheese, for example, then every time they're doing the last step, which is like mixing all the stuff together, and they get mac and cheese out of that. So awesome. That can be a really useful tool for teaching because they get like the good product of the behavior chain. With backwards chaining, another pro is that it has lots of repetition of components before we move on. So we're going to really master each step and stay on that phase for a while until they've really got that step down. Before we move to our next phase. Some cons of backwards chaining. So it's kind of a pro and a con that we do that lots of repetition. So it tends to be a little bit slower since we are spending a lot of time on each phase and really making sure that they have it down. And again, like that mastery on each phase is required before they progress. So it kind of slows down learning a little bit. One more con that I don't actually have on here is that it can be just like weird to set up sometimes. So if you're looking at like some behavior chains are just like really hard to pass over and be like, hey, now you only need to do the last step. Like, who's ever tried like a backwards chaining with shoe tying? Like it's a total fucking mess because it's like, okay, how do I hand over like these mostly tied laces so they just have to do the last step or like the last 2 steps? It's a total mess. So that's another con of backwards chaining. It can be really difficult to kind of like hand over the chains sometimes. Oh, we've got Wiz Fajita in chat. Passed my exam Tuesday. Thanks for help with all these live videos. Yay! We've had so many people pass this week. I'm so happy for you though, Wiz Fajita. That's also an incredible name. So thanks for being here. Thanks for tuning in to all these lives. And yeah, go crush it out there in BCBA life. Congrats. Yay. We've had so many people pass this week. It's been crazy. Like I've been like hardly able to keep up. But you guys are crushing it. I guess it just shows like maybe I'm a good instructor. I don't know. But you guys are putting in the work to really grind it out. So I'm really proud of everybody that's still here grinding wherever you're at. You're in the right place. We'll get you there. Just keep with it, and we got you. We got you. All right, so that's backwards chaining. Let's talk about forward chaining now. It's pretty similar, except instead of going backwards, we're going to be going forwards. So definition here, we are teaching the first link of a behavior chain first, and then we add in the successive links until the last link is taught. So literally the same definition as our backwards chaining. I just replaced the yellow words. Instead of teaching the last link, we're teaching the first link. Instead of doing preceding steps, we're looking at the successive steps, so the steps afterwards. And instead of looking into the training until the first link is taught, we're training until the last link is taught. So a nice kind of easy way to get those definitions down. If you can like memorize the frame, you can just replace a couple words. And that's how I really like to like nail down definitions, and kind of makes it easy to get technical definitions down if you know like the right frame, and you can just swap out words for similar concepts. That's a really useful tip. All right, well, let's talk about pros and cons of our forward chaining. Some of the pros is that the learner contacts the initial behaviors immediately. So we always start at the same spot, and that can make our starting SD a little bit more salient. And that's in contrast to our backwards chaining, because note with backwards chaining, we're starting at a different point on every phase. So sometimes that can be a little bit confusing for our learners. For both forward and backwards chaining, they're more thorough and intensive procedures. So we'll want to use them in general, like when the client can't do many of the components of this skill, because we really like rigorously teach each step. We also usually prefer forwards chaining over backwards chaining when the contact with the terminal reinforcer is less important. So if we look at like two behavior chains of like doing laundry and making mac and cheese, like doing laundry results in clean laundry, but like making mac and cheese results in mac and cheese. And like for most of the individuals that we work with, like the mac and cheese is going to be so much cooler than the clean laundry. So we want to use that reinforcing potency in our teaching procedure. So that might make backwards chaining a little bit better than forwards chaining for making mac and cheese, where it might not matter as much for doing laundry, unless like the kid is like really stoked about clean laundry, which I mean, I'm sure there's a kid out there that gets really stoked about clean laundry. All right. And then looking at our cons of forward chainings, so it delays that contact of the naturalistic reinforcers. So looking at this, like we don't get the naturalistic reinforcer until the very last phase when they're completing the entire chain. And similar to backwards chaining, it's slower because it requires mastery on each phase before we can progress. Okay, our last form of chaining is total task chaining. In total task chaining, sometimes called total task presentation, we are teaching all the links of a behavioral chain in every trial. Let's look at some of the pros and cons. Some of the pros is that the learner contacts the initial behaviors immediately. So similar to our forward chaining, we start at the same step every time. That makes that starting SD more salient. Total task chaining is best when we're teaching like easy skills quickly. Easy is pretty subjective, but essentially you want to compare it to like the skill compared to your the ability of your client. So like think about, are they going to be able to acquire these steps quickly? If so, then total task chaining might be a good option. So it's best used when some components are known or they're easily acquired. And another pro of it is that we're going to complete the chain on every presentation of the chain. So we also contact those naturalistic reinforcers at the end. Sorry, my throat is like dying today. Probably knows, guys. Okay. Some cons of total task chaining. So since it doesn't require mastery of any step to complete the chain, it can kind of create like some sloppiness of the chain. So oftentimes what happens is like like all the steps like get acquired fairly quickly, but like one step might need a little bit more practice than the others. So it can get a little bit sloppy when we're using total task chaining because like we're not getting as like really thorough practice on each step. But we are so that step might just need to be like trained in isolation to really nail it down. But overall, like that's one of the risks of total task chaining is that like things can get a little bit sloppy. Kid was asking, why don't we use backwards chaining when the client cannot do many components? So you would. It would be a good time for backwards chaining as well. So either forwards or backwards chaining are pretty similar, and like they are really intensive chaining procedures. Where total task is going to be like kind of the looser one. Yep. Looks good. All right, we've got some questions on chaining, and then we'll move into shaping. Let's first start off with this one. What are the two functions of stimuli produced in a behavioral chain? We talked about this a lot at the beginning. What are those two functions? And even better challenge for this one is not only say the functions, but which behaviors do they serve for Let's talk about like preceding or next behavior. So if you really want to be cool with your answer, include those details. Which behaviors do they serve these functions for? So yeah, you can use next and previous. That's perfect. Yeah, and I really like that. Perfect. Nice. Amy's killing it. Good. Yeah, Olivia really nailed that one. Aaron's on the right track. Good. Yeah, Alberto, right on the right track there. These are looking great, crew. Nice job. I love the rationales. Those extra details make all the difference for sure. All right, here's what we got. So it's going to serve as a reinforcer for the previous response, and then it's going to be an SD or an operandum for the next response. So reinforces the previous one and sets up the next response as an SD or an operandum. Good. Nice job here, crew. All right, next one. What is a con that applies to both forwards and backwards chaining? What do you guys think? Con for forwards and backwards chaining. Nice. You got all are on this in chat. Looking good. Looking good. All right, looking pretty groovy, looking groovy. All right, The main thing here is that they teach the chain slowly. The reason for that is that both of these procedures are going to require mastery of each step before moving on. So kind of a pro and a con depending what we're looking at. It's slower because we require mastery of each step, but it can be nice because we may really make sure that they have each step down before we add more complexity. Looks good. How is chaining different from a task analysis? Ooh, interesting one. Chaining from a task analysis. What do you think here? Cool, yeah, Amy, I really like where you're going. Alexa, I might rethink that one a little bit. Good, yeah, Madison, I like where you're going there. Yeah, Destiny's on the right track. Good. Close, Daniela. I like the first half of that. Yeah, Akua really nailed that. Toya, right on track. Good. Yeah, Emily's on it. Good. Yeah, nice, Alyssa. Cool, yeah, Kitra, that's a cool way to think about it. I think it works. Okay, here's what we want to look at. So, chaining, this is a procedure to teach a behavior chain. So, this is our forward chaining, backwards chaining, total task chaining. A task analysis is a breakdown of our behavior chain. So, it's breaking that down into the different components. So task analysis is the breakdown. Chaining is going to be how we're going to teach it. So if you said something like chaining is like the behavior chain or it's like the sequence of behaviors, not correct there. This is more about the procedure that we're using to teach the behavior chain. Tricky. Yeah, those terms can get really confusing, but they are pretty important to get down. So behavior chain is like the actual term. So it's like making mac and cheese. Chaining, we might use total task chaining to teach that. The task analysis would be the breakdown. So it's like, okay, first we fill up a pot, then we turn the stove on, we put the pot on the stove, etc. Cool. All right, last question here, and then we'll get into shaping. Sorry, I thought we actually had one more here. We've got describe the total task training process. What do you guys got here? Looking at total task. How do we do that? What we got? Total task training. Cool, yeah, Andrea, I like where you're going. Oh yeah, and Hairston even has some additional details there. I like it. Daniela's on it. Aaron, I think I want a little bit more there. Yeah, Alexa's on the right track. Brianna's on the right track. Good. Yeah, nice, Alberto. Alexa, I think I want something more, a little bit different there, too. And as well, I might go a different route with this one. Yeah, Kaylee, that looks good. Like the example to back it up. Awesome. Yeah, these are looking really solid here, crew. Alrighty. Yeah, Grace looks good. Awesome. So yeah, essentially in total task training, we're going to be practicing every step of the chain on every trial. So every time we practice it, we're going to go through every single step. And yeah, that's the whole process. So we're looking at, again, a chaining procedure. We're teaching it. And the way that we're teaching is that we're just going to go through it every single time. We'll prompt as needed. Good. Nice job here, crew. Next up, we're going to talk about shaping. Who's ready for shaping? Who always gets stuck on shaping within and across topographies here? Anybody? As always, we're going to start with a basic definition. Yeah, and don't worry, I've got a perfect flow chart for you in this one. We're going to nail down those shaping within and across topographies once and for all. Well, let's look at a definition of shaping. First, our definition is that we're going to use a differential reinforcement on behaviors in the same response class that more closely resemble the terminal behavior. So, differential reinforcement is a combination of using reinforcement and extinction. Sometimes this is reinforcement and lesser reinforcement as well. It's not always pure extinction. We're looking at behaviors in the same response class, so they're going to like generally look the same and have the same function. And they're going to more closely resemble our terminal behavior. Our terminal behavior is kind of like the goal of this whole shaping process. So what are we trying to get to? What behavior is like that final goal that we want to see at the end of this? So yeah, those are our three elements. And looks like I did not put my animation in correctly on this one. So we're actually going to talk about shaping across topographies first. Actually, let me fix this real quick. Don't mind me. All right, here we go. So let's start with shaping within topographies. Shaping within topographies is when we're looking at a response and we're shaping a particular response dimension of a behavior. So the topography is always going to be the same. We're just going to be looking at a different response dimension. Now, a response dimension is essentially like a measurable characteristic of a response. Who can tell me in chat, can you just list out what are some examples of response dimensions? Yeah, we've got Anne has magnitude. That's a good one. What else is a response dimension? So like a way that we can like measure a response. Yeah, we've got duration. Good. Latency. Good one. Yeah, Arlena, force. Yeah, very similar to magnitude. Frequency, latency. We've got one more that we're missing. Rate. Yeah, we got that. Good. Abigail's got it. IRT. Good. So yeah, essentially, like, you know, with response dimensions, you can just think about it as like different ways to measure a response. So frequency, rate, latency, force or magnitude, sometimes called intensity as well. I think I saw that in there. Duration and IRT. All of these are examples of response dimensions. So So when we have shaping within topographies, the behavior is exactly the same. It's just one of these 5 things is changing about the behavior. Now, shaping across topographies, this is gradually changing the topography of the behavior. So with shaping within topography, the topography is going to be exactly the same. But with shaping across topographies, then the topography is actually going to be changing over time. This often applies to like more complex behavior. Usually like this will be like with sporty actions, really complex muscle movements, or if we look at vocalizations, also a good example of shaping across topographies. So this was a new flowchart that we made for the Beast Slayer course, but I think it really makes this a simple process for y'all. We want to look at what's changing. If it's a response dimension, so it's the same behavior, it's just one of those 5 response dimensions that we were looking at, then it's shaping within topographies. If we see that the topography is actually changing, then it's shaping across topographies. So super duper simple. We just want to identify what is changing. That's the first thing we absolutely want to ask. Is it a response dimension or is it the topography? If it's a response dimension, we've got shaping within. If it's the topography, we've got shaping across. One way I kind of like to think about this is like we're shaping across topography. So it's like we're like jumping across to a new topography with each step. Where shaping within topography, it's like, okay, it's the same topography, we're just kind of tweaking something else about it. So might be a helpful way to remember that as well. Okay. Oh yeah, I was gonna show you. This is a new example, and want to show you something cool that I've been doing recently. I'm in paragliding school right now. This is a video actually from last season, but here's me and my paraglider, going for a nice little flight over here. So when you're flying a paraglider, to kind of get it up, you need to hold what's called the A chords. The A chords like help get that glider up, and you need to drop them at like a very specific time. So like you want to hold on to them to just like when your glider's like right above you. And then like look at here, like when I like throw my arms backwards, that's me dropping my A chords. So if you drop them too soon, then when the glider is like not above your head, then your glider's just gonna like fall behind you. If you do it too late, then it's like, oh, you need to like speed up and catch your glider, and it can get really weird. So this is like my first example. Look, I've got those A chords, I drop them right there. So like that timing is like really important to nail down when you're like launching off these paragliders. So here is my example. If you drop your A chords too quickly, your wing does not come up. But if you drop your A chords at the correct time, then your wing comes up. So I want you to answer here, what's changing? Is it a response dimension, or is it the topography of the behavior? And then go ahead and answer that. Is this shaping within or across topographies? So a lot of people are missing here. What's changing? Do we see a response dimension, or is it the topography of the behavior changing? Yeah, Andrea and Amy with the rationales really nailing that. We're a little mixed here, but those rationales are going to bring you to the right thing. Yeah, what is the response dimension that's changing? Cool. Yeah, a lot of people are getting onto it now. Lexus, Destiny, Amy, Grace. Good. Yeah, Arlena, really nice on that. And remember our flow chart. So what's changing? Is it a response dimension or is it the topography? And that's going to lead us right to our answer. Yeah, a lot of people are saying like the response, like if you're saying response is changing, that means that, like the topography is changing. But you want to look at the response dimension. So make sure you add that second word. It's not the response. It's a response dimension. So like what? It's a feature of the response, not the response itself. If we're looking at a new response, it's essentially the same as saying it's a new topography. So careful with that too. All right. Lots of y'all got this one. So what we have here is that we see a latency change. So latency change, if the A chords are dropped too quickly, so if they're dropped with low latency, then we get extinction. But if we have the correct latency, now we have our wing comes up with reinforcement. So this one is going to be shaping within, because we have a very clear response dimension that's being shaped up in this process. Acorns, yeah. No, acorns. I know, it probably sounds weird because I know like not many people are flying paragliders. It's a really small sport, but it's really cool sport. I was out flying this morning, so I was like, oh, okay, we gotta throw this in here. All right, yeah, really nice job on this one. So again, latency is our response dimension being changed. So we asked what's changing, latency here. So this is shaping within topography. It's real simple for our flow chart. All right, let's check this next one out. If you talk really quietly, then people don't acknowledge you. But if you talk louder, then you do get acknowledged. What is going on in this one? What's changing? So identify, is it which response dimension, or is it the topography changing? And then we can identify, is this shaping within or across topographies? Nice. Yeah, I see a lot of people taking that step of identifying what's changing. Very good. Yeah, Crystal, Shannon, Daniela. Good. Yeah, Anne's got that. Amy's got it. Awesome. So, Andrea, be careful. It's not the response changing, it's a response dimension. Good. Yeah, Arlena's on it. Grace is on it. Good. Yeah, Emily's on it. Awesome. Yeah, you guys are killing this. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, let's go ahead and review this one. The thing that's changing is the magnitude or the force of the response. And we know that that is a response dimension, so this is going to be shaping within topographies once again. Nice job on this one. So the behavior is the same. They're still talking, but it's just at what level that they're talking. Good. All right. Let's look at one more example. So this one is actually a multi-step one. Remember, with shaping, we're starting with whatever is in your learner's repertoire, and then we're going to shape it up to our terminal behavior, which is that end goal of our shaping process. So first step here, we have that they say "ba," and then we're going to blow some bubbles. We have another step here. We're going to move up. So now we're not going to provide bubbles when they say ba, and we only provide bubbles when they say ba ba. Then once they start saying bubble, then we're going to stop reinforcing ba ba, and then we're going to start reinforcing bubbles. And then reinforcing that with the bubbles. So what's going on in this one? What's changing? And what kind of shaping are we using here? So what's changing and what kind of shaping? Awesome. Yeah, the answers here are looking really great. Yeah, Alyssa, really nice. Reagan, really nice. There you go, Kashira. Yeah, good, Cassie. Andrew's looking had an example about dialing a phone number. I think that might actually be a behavior chain. Think about it, like you need to get the sequence right. I think that would be better described as a behavior chain. Awesome. These answers are looking really good here, crew. Okay, so again, we want to ask what is changing. In this one, we see the topography changing. And when the topography is changing, we know that this is shaping across topographies. Because again, wow, we're kind of like jumping or teaching or moving into new topographies. Nice job here, crew. Good, good, good. We've got a couple more. We've got hit a golf ball with poor form and the ball goes in an undesired place. We hit a golf ball with good form and the ball goes to a desired place. Is this shaping within or across? First, ask yourself, what's changing? Good. Yeah, I'm liking the answers so far. Hey, Jameson, good to see you here. Good. Awesome. Answers looking solid so far. Nice job here, crew. All right. This one is another topography change. So what we have is this is going to be shaping across topographies. Awesome job here, crew. Shaping across topographies. So think about with poor form versus good form. There's a lot of different behaviors explained, but there's a lot of different behaviors that have to occur at the same time. So like you need to have like straight back. You need to I don't golf, so I don't really know, but you need to have like your full swing or like right angle like hitting the ball, and then you need to like have it with the right amount of force. So there's many different things that you need to all have at the same time, which makes us cross topographies because the topography is going to be a little bit like they're physically going to look different for like hitting with poor form versus good form. They're physically going to look different, what the behavior looks like. Awesome. I'm gonna skip this one tonight. We're actually gonna wrap up. I had a couple more questions here, but we're gonna wrap up just because my poor voice is dying. I've got a show to play tomorrow. But before we wrap up tonight, though, you guys have been really amazing. So we'll do one more giveaway, before we call it an evening. And yeah, whoever wins this one, again, will get their choice of either Beat the Beast mock, the mini mocks, or our fluency package. You can throw in a number, once again, 1 to 500, and we'll pick the closest winner. You can start throwing those in now. Just a reminder, once again, tomorrow we're starting our Labor Day sale. It'll be active in the morning tomorrow. So if you are looking for some amazing deals on the best BCBA exam study products out there, then this weekend is really the time to pick them up. We'll even have deals on our complete Beast Mode bundle, which comes with everything. I don't know why I said it like that. It was really dumb. It comes with everything. It comes with Beast Slayer, the 2 mocks, mini mocks, and our fluency package. It's going to be at our best price ever. All right, who's going to win this one? Man, I was going to go to karaoke tonight, but I don't think my voice can handle it. It's like toasted right now. I don't know why. I gotta drink more water. I'm like pushing my body so hard this past couple days. Maybe that's why. All right. We'll give you about 10-15 more seconds. Let's see those guesses. Go sing Johnny Cash. Be kind of fun. The ring of fire I fell in. Oh yeah, sorry, Memorial Day sale. Thanks, Emily. Like I said, I'm tired. I think I've beaten my body up too much. I'm probably just gonna go to bed. All right, let's pick this number. We've got 263. Who we got? 263. Help me out here, crew. I see Shinobu 255. Okay, that's 8 off. That's pretty close. 263. 263. Anybody closer than that? Oh, wait. Abigail Gordon 264. Oh, my gosh. Only one away. That's got to be it. Abigail. Yeah. All right. Abigail. Oh, Alba had 267. Abigail was only 1 off, though. She's so close, too close. All right, we're going to give it to Abigail. Congratulations. Amazing. Thanks so much for coming tonight. Send me an email, understandingbehaviorofficial@gmail.com, and let me know which prize you want, and I'll hook you up. Congratulations to our winners tonight. Thanks for everybody for coming here tonight. Again, the Memorial Day sale starts tomorrow. Our Beast Slayers exclusive stream is going to be on Tuesday. So if you sign up for Beast Slayer this weekend, you can be a part of that. Come hang out with me on the stream for a really exclusive special fun time. And other than that, I hope you guys enjoy the long weekend. Hopefully you have a long weekend. I'm just going to be working, so I don't get that. But you guys have a great weekend. I hope you have a wonderful time and some fun plans, and enjoy some family and some outside time and all that jazz. But yeah, thank you so much for being here tonight. Next week we're gonna cover something else. I think maybe measurement. I want to say. I'll be there for that. If you're testing this week, good luck. Go crush it out there. Hopefully we can celebrate you here soon. And hope you just see you around our community. All right, have a great one, everyone. Take care. Good night, and see you next time. Bye-bye-bye.